Hey guys, Eclipse the Dragon here, and this time I'm going to be doing a quick how-to on how you can apply a technique to something that you have already created. Now, in this case, these things have already gotten their respective techniques. I used that one for the last video, but unfortunately the cursor was on not show, so I'm redoing it. So this time I will be using this scale down here. Now, as you can see from the menu and all, that it has absolutely no techniques to it. So one will go to assume you cannot go and apply a technique to that since it has been pre-created. Just a sec, please, guys. Okay. Now, in this case, I have two different sockets, one for jewelry and one is meant for armor. Now, in this particular case, what I want is the armor item. As you can see from that little box that's popped up, beside the S word it says yes. That means it has already been what I like to call subscribed or inserted into the techniques list. Usually you will go about using these items in the techniques list at a particular time during creation of the item in order to actually add the technique. And as you can see, it is right there, already highlighted. But in this particular case, the item is already created. This one was purchased from a Cayenne shop some time ago. And like I showed you before, it's got no technique to it. Absolutely no technique whatsoever. So, applying a technique to an item is actually very simple indeed. It is merely a case of click the technique, drag it to the item, and drop it. Probably have to have them in the same window. Unable to do that. Right. It's the head scale. So guys, still a little bit new to all this. I basically just figured it all out myself, and these two look quite identical, and you'd assume that the head scale would go along with the armor, but it doesn't. Nope, it goes with jewelry. Just bear that in mind. So as I was saying, very simple. Click the technique, drag it to whatever you want to put it on, and drop it. This one also had no techniques, as you can see, and that word was not begin with. As you can see, it's now got a couple of sockets there. As unable to use any more. So we know this one's got no technique. I've showed you all the details. And now with a click and drag, a new gem, a crystal socket, has been installed to it. You can basically think of this as applying color to something. So in this particular case, I do want to apply color to something. I'll have a sec, please. Yeah, hi Nightmoonclaw. Just spam with me a sec, guys. This won't take long. Yeah, I've got a mess on my vault. Go ahead and laugh. But I like to sort stuff out. So anyway, the click and drag to apply a technique is basically the same principles as click and drag to apply color. And with the die kits, that's all you can do to use them. Just click, drag them around to whatever you want to use them. In this case, it's an armor item, so it will not work on something like the bag, as I have just shown you. However, it will work for the scales. I'll show you soon. Okay, same principle as before. Click, drag, drop, and as you can see, the item has changed in color. You can see with this comparison that these two are completely different colors now, and each has got two sockets for crystals. You may want to note that these crystal sockets come in multiple shapes, so certain crystals for certain items is part of the game. So I'll dye the last item before wrapping up this vid. Now you can either try to loot the techniques, or as I did for the ones I've just used, buy them, the socket ones particularly, from this guy. Its coordinates will show up here on the map, and that's his name. So that's the best way to get the socket items. They'll cost up to 500 copper coins each. But depending on your level, in my case, level 100, so I can use level 100 gems. It's totally worth it. You may notice that this one has up to 3 sockets. That's because that's what's known as a T6 item. Technique uses have their rules for particular items. T1 and T2 can only use one technique. T2 3 and 4, from memory of what I was told, maybe 5 too, can only use 2, and T6 can equip up to 3 techniques. In this case, it's 3 sockets. I'm not 100% sure of the details there, so you'll have to probably check it out online, see if you can dig up some information. But that's pretty much the basics on applying techniques directly to pre-made items. And this doesn't just go with scales and dragon equipment either. It will also go with non-dragon items, assuming the technique respects that item, meaning the technique can, for a fact, actually be equipped. So I hope this tutorial helps you out in some ways. Like, favor, subscribe, do all that jazz if you're up for it, if you want to. And I'll see you next time.